Welcome to this week of Beanie and The Boom, the podcast. Welcome back, people. We've been MIA for a little bit. But before we start off, I'd like to give a shout out to our very special friends over at Buyers Auto. If you're looking for a great ride, check out buyersauto.com. Buyers, the people you know and love, they're great. Check them out. What's going on, Boom?
Man, just living life, Beans. How you been, man?
I can't complain, man. I can't complain.
It's good to see you, man. I'm actually glad that we back, man. Like you said, we've been MIA, man, and it's time to get back to it, man. This is like my medicine right here.
Right.
I'm able to come on here and just, break bread with my brother, man. So what's the word, man?
Ain't much, man. Just been chilling out, running around with the kids. Baseball is kind of tailored down. My kids were on a travel team, and dude, when I say baseball is a hell of a schedule, obviously you know how it is in the MLB, where the season lasts forever. Yeah. But this shit we're talking is for 8, 9, 10-year-old kids, and it's going 4 and 5 games a week.
Well, they had an All-Star game mid-season.
Exactly.
like what?
They were in the MLB.
Right. That's
had
crazy.
an All-Star break in the mid part of the year, but man, it was great, man. Baseball is one of the sports that I loved growing up, but I didn't know I loved it as much as I do watching my kids play. Mm-hmm. That's something like, damn, I really love baseball. Yeah. And not only just watching them play, I find myself watching it on TV now because my kids have this passion for it, man. Right. They're like, my oldest, it shocked the hell out of me, but he was like, man, Dad, I don't think I want to play football this year. I said, what do you mean? You're only playing flag anyways. Right. It's not like you're playing tackle. He said, yeah, that's probably the reason. Because I don't want to play flag football. I'd rather play baseball all year round, man. So that's been good, man. It's been a treat, man, to watch those dudes play, man. And the summer has just been flying by, bro.
Man, make sure that they keep playing, though.
That's what I'm saying.
For myself, I was good in baseball at a young age. I got to high school. I wanted to play, but I was too stubborn because I went off of the team. I made the team, and the coach was like, you got to cut all your facial hair off.
What?
And I was like, oh, well, I quit then. I was just not giving.
Why was that a thing? You ain't go to no private school.
Exactly. I don't know. I don't know what it was all about.
He was on some controlling.
Yeah,
shit,
basically.
That's what that was.
He didn't last though either. So so I had to. But I mean, obviously, I knew I wasn't. I knew I was gonna play football, but at the same time, I could have been a Devon Torrance, and got drafted out of high school. Who knows what could have happened? But it is what it is, man.
Man, you know what time of the year it is? Training camp.
Training camp.
Training camp is about to be here for these Ohio State Buckeyes. It's already there for the NFL. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of guys reported last week and maybe some the week before. Mm-hmm. But for Ohio State, man, these guys are here. They're checking in on. Well, they do it a little bit different this year than years past. They got camp. Their first day is on Friday, but they don't check into the hotels on Monday.
Yeah, that's weird.
I wonder what that whole deal is about right there. I don't know if they're doing construction or whatnot, but normally it's like, shit, if you go on a camp, you checking in.
Right now, it's camp. You locked in.
Exactly.
Your mindset is different because it's like you going in them hotels. It's almost like you in jail, man, because that's all it is. You in meetings, and you know what I'm saying? You working out. Or you on the practice field. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no talking to the girls. Ain't no really talking to the family. You might get to talk to them late at night. Right. At the end of the day. But, man, it's a grind, man. It's a grind.
I want to say, man, my last camp. No, your first camp, we were roommates, right?
Right, yeah.
For the first how long were we in camp? Was it 3 weeks when we were in school?
It's 3 weeks. 3 or 4 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks. Nonetheless, the first week of camp, I didn't bring my phone. I had this deal like, you know what? I'm going in focused. I'm about to ball this year. I ain't taking my phone with me. And I got this young dude over here, fresh out of high school, rooming with me. Me not taking my phone was the worst thing ever because all this motherfucker did was talk the whole time. I'm trying to get rest. I'm like, man, this dude's just talking about this, talking about that.
Hey, bro.
And I don't got no outlet to nobody else. So he's the only person I got to talk to at this point.
First off, you made it seem like I was just this young kid, but we like 6 months apart from each other in age, bro.
But you're a young kid coming out of high school. It's
true.
You don't know what it's like to be in college at that point.
Right. You got a good point.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, this dude, he don't shut his ass up and let me get some sleep,
man. Bro, hey, like you said, I was young, man. It was my first college camp, bro. Like, you know how it was when you went for your first year.
What was that like for you? Coming out of high school, was it what you expected? Was it hard? Was it
Yeah, it was hard, man. I mean, obviously, I've worked hard, in high school.
Right.
But you already know when you go to college, man, it's taken up to another level. Accountability, like the everything as far as the time, like when you was in high school, you wasn't having practice or workouts at 6:30 in the morning,
right.
or having to get up, especially if you was injured.
Right.
The guys had to be at what did they call it?
Aquatics,
yeah. Yeah, to get in the water and do all that stuff. I mean, thank God I don't think I can't remember being on there, but just like having a whole full day though, from 7 o'clock in the morning to almost 7 o'clock at night, man. You wasn't doing that in high school, so I think that was the big thing for me. Just and like you said, getting rest, man. That's the big thing. I don't know where
you was at talking about being done at 7 o'clock at night. Well, we wasn't getting back to the hotel till 9.
Yeah, it was 7, 9 o'clock. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But it was late. You know what I'm saying. But like you were saying, my freshman year, I probably didn't get as much rest as I needed to. Obviously, you was my roommate, but that was a thing. As I got older, I started doing more, man. Just getting that rest and make sure my body was fresh for the next day, because it's a grind every day in camp is a grind.
It's a beast, man. I tell you, when I first got here, under Coach Tress, I was third string on the depth chart. I might have been fourth string on the depth chart when I first came in. But going through practice and knowing how long it was, the first practice, and we were thumping. That's one of the things people don't really know. At a Jim Tressel training camp, your ass was hitting.
Yeah.
It was full bore. It wasn't no taking it easy. Yeah. Check that. We took it easy the first day we got in the pass. Next day it was hoot and holler, then it was full bore. It was go. So it wasn't one of those, walks in the park. So I'm a young dude. I'm like, all right, I'm excited to play football. I'm excited to prove myself once we get the pads on and so on and so forth. And I had been through spring ball already.
Right.
But camp was an entirely
it's a totally
different monster, because you got one full practice to where you're going, balls to the walls. You're going hard, man. And then you come back, you get a little bit of meetings, you get some treatment in. You may got time for a 35, 40-minute nap. Then it's back to practice.
Yeah. That nap is a waste of time, first off.
Big time, because it makes you
sluggish and tired, so don't even take that nap.
So going back to practice for the second one, I mean, your body is blown out, because you're hitting that much. And, when I got to the NFL, man, after leaving training camp of college, I got to the league. I said, this shit is easy.
Right.
It's so easy.
They changed it.
No, it wasn't changed for me when I first got to the league.
Okay.
When I first got, we still had 2-a-days.
Yeah.
We still had all them long-ass meetings. We weren't getting back into our rooms until 10 o'clock.
Right.
But it was so much easier because we were just running. It was like you got on shorts and shoulder pads, but you're running. Ain't nobody hitting you. You ain't going full bore.
Yeah.
That was one of the deals to where, it was a little bit lighter. But, boy, oh, boy.
Hey,
2006 Jim Tressel training camp was no joke.
Yeah. I was about to say, a funny thing about the NFL, man, I always tell cats, if you made it through a full camp and they cut you at the end, you got to count that year, man. If you went through training camp, man, I count that year. You know what I'm saying? Everybody asked me, my fifth year, I ended up getting cut, and that was it. But everybody asked me, man, I played 5 years. I had I had a full camp, so it is what it is.
It's brutal, man.
Yeah.
But diving into this team, man, training camp is, where guys are made and some guys are broken. A lot of questions will be answered. The most important question I think that we all have is with Justin Fields. What's he going to look like? Obviously, we saw a small sample size of him in the spring, but this is an opportunity for him to kind of get up under his feet. He's had the spring to learn the offense. He's had some time to kind of develop continuity with the wide receivers and the offensive linemen. What's it going to look like in your opinion? Do you think he's going to come out as the unquestioned guy? Because Ryan Day hasn't named a starting quarterback, although all eyes point to it being Fields.
I mean, I think Ryan Day has to be fair to both guys. I think he's doing the right thing by not naming a guy. I think him going into training camp, letting both guys think. I think everybody knows that it's going to be, like you said, Fields. And like everybody's been saying, if you're watching TV and you're looking at most of the media, a lot of people think that Justin's going to do a great job this year. And I honestly think he will be a great player for the Buckeyes. I think he will do great things, put up great stats this year, and lead us to the playoffs and possibly to a national championship. I really don't see a reason why the Buckeyes can't go undefeated this year. That's just my opinion.
Oh man, shit.
That's just my
new quarterback coming in, going new quarterback, new coach. new defensive coordinator. You saying undefeated? All right, man.
I mean, I have my reasons why. I mean, I just really don't see a real threat in the Big Ten. I think that we could run the Big Ten, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think our real challenge will be when we get to the playoffs, and that's just my opinion. I mean, you look at. I don't see Michigan being a threat, even though they're picking them to win the Big Ten championship. But they pick them all. I feel like they pick them every year.
Right.
I honestly think that the media does that on purpose so they can have a story to talk about. They give everybody something to talk about. But I really just after obviously Ohio State every year has that one team that is like super irrelevant team that just gives.
We ain't got Purdue on the schedule this year, so
really. Oh, okay.
Thank God for that.
Did we go to Wisconsin or did we play Wisconsin this year?
We played Wisconsin, but it's home. It's a home game.
Okay.
But you saying an undefeated season with a brand new quarterback, brand new D coordinator, brand new head coach.
I just like what I see.
I get it, but I think I need to see a little bit more. It's going to take me a little bit to get to that point to where I'm comfortable saying Ohio State is going to be a team that's in the college football playoff. I think they'll be a good team. I think, like you said, the Big Ten, obviously you got a couple of teams that you have to worry about on a regular basis. Purdue, Wisconsin. You never know what Michigan State's going to bring to the table.
Even
Michigan
Indiana,
is always going
man.
to be a game. So there's a few teams you do have to worry about, but I think I need to see it develop on field. Because last year when you look at it, man, we were pretty good on offense, but we had the worst defense in Ohio State history from a statistical standpoint. And that's ugly. And that was part of the reason why we brought in Greg Madison and Al Washington and a number of other good defensive coaches to kind of change some of the philosophies and the schemes that we were running last year because the shit was awful. When we're getting gashed for 200 yards
in the first half
against Maryland.
Yeah.
I mean, that shit is crazy. Then when you're watching teams be able to take us up top in a secondary when we were once considered, well, we still are considered DBU when you break it all the way down, look at all the DBs that we have in the league. But we were coming off of years to where we had the likes of the Marshawn Lattimore, the Denzel Wars, the Eli Apples, those defenses in the secondary that were shutting shit down.
Right.
To see it last year, bro, that was insane.
It was heartbreaking.
It was. So
especially the linebacker core, and like you said, I'm glad that we got Al Washington. And I might be biased about the whole thing about us going undefeated, and I just see a lot of good things that I think that's gonna happen. And maybe I'm just a biased, Buckeye fan that just think that we're always supposed to win every game and that we're supposed to go to championship.
Brainwash, man. Brainwash.
Hey, maybe I am. But it is what it is. I think I put it like this. I think we have a great chance of going undefeated.
We should have a pretty good chance. I think we can.
If everything goes right.
Shit, you know how that is.
Right.
Shit, if and buts are candy and nuts. Right. I always say if my aunt had nuts, she'd be my uncle. So I mean, if everything went right, you just never know. But,
man.
One of the more intriguing things that I'd beg to worry about is Justin Fields, his ability to be a peer quarterback. Now we know the athlete that he is. We know what we saw last year. People are going to want to see some of these Dwayne Haskins like throws, and I know that we aren't going to get that. But how much do you think? And this is a big question of mine that Ryan Day runs him, and that's the scary thing. If he does run him like we've seen Urban Meyer do in the past with quarterbacks, that's opening yourself up to a lot more than just having a good athlete at quarterback. You're opening yourself up to injury because you're putting the ball in his hands that many times.
I think he's going to run, but honestly, everybody wants to look at the fields. I think the major key of our offense this year, especially in the early point, will be J.K. Dobbins. I think if we're running the ball well, it's going to take a lot of pressure off of Fields. Now if J.K. starts off slow, then that's going to put a lot of pressure on him. You know what I'm saying? So I think the big key factor. I mean, obviously we want Fields to have a big year and start off great, but I think J.K. is going to play a big key on how we handle Fields play earlier in the year.
And why I brought that up, because I was thinking about Gunnar Hoke, the backup quarterback, or the supposed backup quarterback. This is a guy who's played down at Kentucky. He's had some experience. He's wanting to come in and play. And, if they already have Justin as their pet guy, that's going to be – it is what it is. But how important is it to have Gunnar Hoke ready? because of that reason. Because if we're looking at, just 4 years ago,
I was just about to say,
we had it happen where Braxton Miller goes down. Then we got to go to skip our backup quarterback, go to our third string quarterback in JT Barrett, and he's the guy that kind of, ignites the ignition and leads us to the promised land.
I think, at Ohio State, I think it's important for everybody to be ready.
Right.
Because anything can happen. As you saw, injuries happen, like you said, it was 3 or 4 years ago, where Braxton's gone. JT comes in, plays great throughout the year. Then with Michigan game, JT gets hurt. Now we're looking at Cordell,
right.
And everybody's nervous as heck. Everybody's like, what the heck's going to happen? And Cordell was prepared. That's why I say it's important for all the guys to be prepared, because you just never know what happens, especially with injuries. Anything could happen. You might just need that next guy to step up. Or it might be a game where Fields is just having a horrible game, and we might have to put the other guy in there, and he might have to.
I pray to God that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but
fuck up somebody's confidence.
Exactly.
Extremely.
But it's happened before though.
Right. Yeah, we've seen it happen. We had Cardell on the show, and we talked about how they were going back and forth with him and
that's what I'm saying.
JT after the national championship year. What's your biggest storyline though, man, of the season going into camp? And the biggest thing that you want to see happen, the biggest question mark that you do have outside of obviously Justin Fields, who we were just talking about.
It got to be the defense. Overall, like you said, I think we just talked about it. The defense, we didn't play as well as we're used to seeing the Buckeyes play. Now that we got some new coaches, we got some newer players, but we also got some returning guys. So I really want to see how the defense comes out and starts the season.
Yeah.
I think it's really big for our linebackers to have a big year. I think we got all the pieces that we need to get back to playing the silver bullet defense, flying around, having a good time, and making big plays.
I think the pressure is on Greg Madison and Al Washington. These are two guys that we obviously brought over from the dark side.
Right.
They had some very good defenses from a statistical standpoint when you look at them and where Michigan ranked a couple of years ago nationally. And now you couple that with the talent that Ohio State has, and the guys that we go out and recruit. I like to think that we recruit a lot better guys than they do at Michigan. So if we have these coaches and they are good, or they are as good as advertised, then I think we'll be in a good spot. But it's a lot of pressure on them. It's a lot of pressure not to play these guys out of position. Last year we saw a lot of that with Greg Schiano. We saw a ton of it with Billy Davis and the linebacking core. So it'll be interesting. It'll be real interesting. I mean, last year we saw Tough Borland struggle.
Yeah.
In my opinion, he should have never played last year coming off that Achilles injury. Or he should have never played as soon as he did.
Yeah.
But now he's back, gets another year under his belt.
Yeah.
One of the things that he struggled with was moving side to side. So does that open the door up for a Mitchell? Does that open the door up for a Baron Browning there at that middle linebacker spot? There's going to be a lot of questions that will be answered in coming weeks, and I just can't wait to go over and check out some practices and kind of watch it unfold, because this is
the time to find out, man.
I mean, I can't think of a year that Ohio State has had this lofty of an expectation,
right,
with a brand new coach, with a brand new defensive coordinator, and a brand new quarterback. You go back to Jim Tressel, I don't think people anticipated right out the gate his team being in a discussion for a national championship. That's how it is with Ohio State right now. I mean, Urban Meyer, he didn't leave the cupboards bare. He left us with some pretty good players, and I think he left us with a great infrastructure as well. So I think the pressure's on those guys on the defense and Ryan Day. So I'm looking forward to it, bro.
Yeah, I mean, another thing, them coming from the other side as well.
Right.
That's going to be like they have to come over here and show that they're worthy of being over here. Or our fans, they're going to be like, man, y'all don't take your ass back over there where y'all came from. So, like you said, I got to agree with you, man. That's going to be the biggest thing. I mean, obviously, we want to see everybody, progress, but everybody wants to see our defense progress the most. I mean, because I think we have a pretty good receiver core coming back.
All right, give me your top receiver out of that core that you believe. Who do you think is going to be the takeover guy? And I don't want to say Paris Campbell, but who's going to be?
Probably KJ.
You think KJ?
Yeah.
They were talking about playing him at H-back, so that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
You think KJ's your guy?
I mean, he had the chance of actually coming out this year.
Right.
I would expect a senior, a guy that has a lot of experience.
Right.
A guy that's played in some big games, made some big plays in some big games. I would expect him to be the guy that really be the leader, stand out the most, especially at that position.
Man, that's an interesting guy right there. I mean, we know his impact, and like you said, we know he had an opportunity to come out, and you come back for a reason. You come back to win a national championship, and you come back to better your draft stock.
Yeah, and you think about this. As you speak about bettering your draft stock, you're not sure if you got a brand new quarterback. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he has, Haskins back and they have that connection. We don't know if they're gonna have that connection. Yeah. So this is a time that we're gonna find out a lot. So man,
Benjamin Victor is my guy at that receiving core.
Okay.
He's the big speedy guy. We've seen him make some phenomenal catches, but something about him just strikes me as like big play guy. Mm-hmm. And I think with the guys that we had on our roster last year, the Paris Campbells, the Terry McLaurins, all those great guys that we saw go on, Johnny Dixon, to the next level, I think now this just opens it up and allows those younger guys that have been waiting in the wings that we've saw glimpses of get their opportunity to play, and I think he will flourish. Mack is another one of those guys. I think we saw at the beginning stages of last year, he had some chances to make some big plays. We saw him get open. We saw him break guys down. Couldn't track the ball in a couple of those big games, but man, I think those two guys, but more so Victor, man. He's been a guy that we've heard his name year in, year out, but we just had so many damn receivers we couldn't get him all the ball.
Right
now it's going to be dwindled down a little bit, and I'm anxious to see if we do dwindle it down and we don't throw 7-8 receivers out there in the game. That shit would get on my nerves if I was one of those guys.
Run first, baby. You gotta run first.
Well, shit, if you're a receiver, you want the ball too, man.
Yeah, I get it. But I mean, I think Coach Hartline will do a great job of getting those guys prepared and getting them ready and having them playing fast out there. My question is, I mean, obviously we know J.K. is gonna be the guy at running back. Who do you want to see? After J.K.
Easy, Demario McCall. That's the guy that I think is so fucking good.
Yeah.
So good. It was just an unfortunate situation, him and Urban Meyer. I don't know the particulars. I just know he wasn't in Urban Meyer's good graces.
Right.
But anytime he was on the football field at the running back spot and he touched the ball, he's a big play waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So a guy that's going to come in and spell JK and kind of give you that oomph, that Curtis Samuel type, break you down in the hole, take it the distance, Demario McCall is going to be that guy, man. I can't wait to see him play.
Do you see J.K. being a 1,500-yard guy, or do you see him being like a 1,000, 1,200, maybe 400, 500 receiving? Because I honestly don't remember J.K. really catching the ball at the backfield.
No, I mean, it didn't catch it a ton out of the backfield, but I think he'll probably be in that 1,400, 1,500-yard range.
Yeah.
With that being said, I still think we'll have enough of the ball around to be able to spread it around to the other guys on that offense.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know that they're going to want to beat him up. J.K. is the biggest dude in the world. I know he's been durable, but you got to look at the fact that last year he pretty much split time.
Yeah.
And then the back end of his freshman year, when Mike started to come back a little bit healthy, he kind of split time then too. So to say that you want to pick 300 and some carries on a guy like that, I don't know that you want to do that.
Right.
He isn't the biggest. I don't know if you want to break him down. You want to keep him as fresh as possible. But I think he will have that 1,400, 1,500 yards. On the defensive end, flipping sides, man, on the defensive line, this is Chase Young's year, right?
You know what? Is he's been getting a lot of
I think he's already
hype.
Projected like top 10 in the draft.
Well, no, he's projected number 1 in the draft. And there were some games. Don't get me wrong. I like the kid a lot. I think he's a great player. But there were a lot of games last year I seen him take a lot of plays off.
Right.
So I hope that we can get him where he's giving his best effort and he's giving it 100. The whole game. Because that's what's going to play a part of when you get drafted. You know how they, scouts and coaches look at that. And I think he could do some great things this year. He's a big kid. He's a fast kid. He's in my opinion, he's probably the best defensive lineman in college football right now.
No question. I don't think there's a question
so
about it.
I'm expecting a huge year out of him. I think we got a couple other younger guys stepping up on the defensive line. I think we're pretty good on the defensive line side. Honestly, in my opinion, the major part would be obviously the linebackers and even the DBs. I don't think. I mean, we don't have a lot of young guys in the secondary. So, I mean, in my opinion, I think we should be able to turn it back around, like I said, and play fast and see the silver bullets become silver bullets again.
Yeah, man, that's all the shit we're looking forward to out of camp, man. Obviously a lot of these questions we won't get answered until the season rolls around, but.
Right.
Camp is going to give us a pretty good indication on, the things that we hear coming out of there, how Fields is done, how's J.K. looking, how's Chase Young looking. So, I mean, that's enough for Ohio State right now.
Yeah.
Well, I can't even say that's enough for Ohio State because we're getting ready. You got something else?
Yeah, no, I was going to talk about not Ohio State college football.
We're getting ready to go NFL right now.
Yeah,
that's why I say you can't just not talk about Ohio State when you're talking about NFL. They got so many fucking guys.
We got 62 guys on NFL on the rosters right now.
And one of those guys just got
that bag.
Secure the bag, Lord. Michael Thomas, man.
Show me the money.
Straight up. I don't know the particulars of it. I know it was $100 million.
It's 5 years, 100 mil with 61 million guaranteed.
61 million guaranteed.
Yes.
If you got your phone with you real quick, I want you to pull up Odell Beckham Jr.'s contract and Antonio Brown's contract because I want to compare those two. But nonetheless, Mike Thomas getting paid, I love it, man. Here you got a guy that at Ohio State was a fucking beast. Could do it all. They just didn't get him the ball. He goes to the league, gets drafted in the second round. He's an absolute first-round talent, but nobody got a chance to see him get the ball on a consistent basis. Goes to one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history and just balls 3 consecutive years. Now, people sit there and say, well, if he didn't have Drew Brees, would he still be the same guy? He might not catch as many passes, but in terms of just lining up and dominating the guy across from him and not the fastest cat, he's going to break their ass down and out-physical them. So, yes, he'll still be that good without Drew Brees. Congratulations, Mike.
I think Mike deserves every penny.
And he works his ass off.
He works hard. He's never in trouble. He makes plays every week.
Right.
He's going to give you over 100 catches, every year, over 1,000 yards every year. Why not pay the guy? 3 years in a row, I think he led the league in catches.
Yeah.
I think it was.
He had like 3,700 yards in 3 years, something like that. It's crazy.
So why not pay the guy? Congratulations to that brother. I hope he get another bag after this one.
Oh, man, he is, man. Mike's, 23, 24 years old? I mean, he signed a 5-year contract. Yes, he absolutely will. And he's the $20 million guy. Did you look up Antonio Brown's contract?
So, AB was 3 years, 50 mil.
But he had a couple years left on the contract.
Right.
So that was new money.
So guaranteed he got 30 million.
Okay. So let me hit it up real quick, man. You got to go to Sports Track, man. That's where you got to check out sportstrack.com. You type it in the contract, man. It come right there. Break it all the way down.
So in 9 seasons, it says Antonio Brown has made basically $70 million.
$70 million?
Yes.
That's a beautiful thing right there. Pull up Odell Beckham Jr.'s contract. On my phone right now, my service in this building is struggling.
Hey, you on my phone so you can do it on mine?
No. So Odell Beckham Jr.'s contract, it was a 5-year deal. He got $65 million guaranteed. And it was 5 for 95.
Ooh, so Mike.
Yeah, so I wonder how that is. How's that, going to break down? I wonder, are those numbers that we're getting accurate? Because I can't imagine he would just say, you know what, I'm just going to take the $20 million just for the look good and not get the guaranteed money, because we all know that's the shit that counts right there.
Oh, that guaranteed. Yeah, because injuries happen. Anything can happen. Granted, we pray to God, Mike. He has a healthy 5 years, and I hope they pay him after his 3rd year. Again,
right.
Like I hope he just had these unbelievable years like he's been having, and he can get another 100 piece. That would be so amazing.
That'd be sweet, man. But Mike is a very, I wouldn't say undervalued now because he got $100 million. But when people talk about the top wide receivers in the league, he's not one of the first names mentioned. I think he should be, and I think people don't. Because of Drew Brees.
He's definitely in the top 5, though.
Oh, man, without question. I mean, he'll break somebody down on simple routes.
Yeah.
And you're not going to out-physical him. That's what I love about him. He's a hard-nosed cat. But speaking of contracts, man, there's so many guys. Just think about this real quick before I dive into Zeke. There are so many guys from the 2015 National Championship team that are about to get paid or already got paid.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Joey Bosa.
He just got a $3.2 million just to come to practice. Roster bonus. Yeah,
but I mean, fuck a $3.2 million.
No. What I'm saying though, all he had to do was just show up. Yeah.
So you look at Joey Bosa, who's about to get paid. You look at Marshawn Lattimore, who's about to get paid soon.
Eli Apple might even get a little piece.
Yeah, Eli Apple will indeed get a pretty good contract somewhere because he's been solid since moving to New Orleans. Malcolm Jenkins is probably going to get another contract, but he wasn't on that 2015 team. Who else am I missing? Denzel Ward was a part of that 2015. I know we just saw him come out his rookie year. He's going to be another guy that's going to be a staple point as a top corner in the league. So he's going to get a fat contract. Who else? Give me some other guys that were on that team, man. There's so many fucking players.
I mean,
Darren Lee has an opportunity to prove himself in Kansas City. Obviously, it didn't work out with the Jets. Goes to Kansas City, a place in which they've had successful linebackers.
Carlos just got broke off.
Carlos.
I'm
talking about 2015.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, there were so many guys drafted that year that will just have an opportunity to go out and get some big money, and I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I love every bit of it. I mean, there's so many guys we're not even mentioning because I can't think of the names right now, but nonetheless, you can look it up, and you can look at how they've been doing in the league.
The Buckeyes are eating.
Exactly.
That's all you need to know.
Eating very good.
We eating.
But
all right.
diving back into the Zeke situation, I hate it. I hate it because you're the Dallas Cowboys.
They got all the money. They got the money to do it right now.
But throwing money out the window, you know how important he is to your team. You know when he's there, what's that mean to the defense? Dallas Cowboys defense has been an average defense. I don't care what anybody says. Right. Yeah, they got a couple players that they pay guys, but they've been an average defense. And one of the reasons why they've looked decent is because Ezekiel Elliott controls the ball. That was the reason why Dallas decided to, you know what, I'm going to jump up. What was he, drafted 4 or 3? I'm going to jump up and grab this guy because he's going to be, when they had the worst defense in the league at the time.
They're going to change it.
Because he was going to change that. He was going to allow them to play clock control football. And you got a guy sitting there, you know what he deserves. You just watched some shit happen with Le'Veon Bell. Why do you want to put yourself through that? Why? Especially if you know he's been healthy. Yeah, you can look at the Todd Gurley situation and have that question mark there, but you got to judge every situation on a case-by-case basis. Here you have the unquestioned best running back in the league in terms of durability, in terms of what he does in the pass game, in terms of what he does in the protection game, in terms of how he affects the ball, of how he affects the game when the ball is in his hands, and you want him to hold out? No, I guess the good thing is if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you can sit there and say, you know what, the holdout really doesn't bother us because he's not going through training camp. We know the type of guy he is. We know he's going to be prepared and ready to go. But why want that anyways? I mean, why do you need that cloud hovering over your franchise with your best player?
What really bothered me was Jerry Jones' comment that he said he doesn't need a lead.
Yeah, you don't need a lead rusher to win a Super Bowl. And I get
you need Zeke to win a Super Bowl, buddy.
So let's go back real quick, a couple of years. Who won a Super Bowl last year, right? This past year. The Patriots. The Patriots won a Super Bowl.
Oh, come on, man.
Who did the Patriots draft?
A running back?
They drafted a running back in the first round. But let's look at the Patriots over the past couple of years. So Sonny Michel, right? Balled. In the playoffs, balled in the regular season, down the stretch, it was when he really turned it on. You go back to a couple of years ago when they won the Super Bowl. LeGarrette Blount,
yeah.
Balled in the playoffs.
Oh, hey.
Balled back into the regular season, down the stretch. Who won the Philadelphia Eagles, right?
Yeah.
Who was the running back on that team? I'm trying to think. It was the kid out of Wisconsin. They had a number of those guys.
Well, they had Sproles.
But Sproles wasn't the Bill Cotton. But nonetheless, they were running the ball successfully. So anybody that sits here and says
you don't need a running back,
we don't need a running back to win a Super Bowl, you're fucking lying to yourself. Yeah, you need a franchise quarterback to get you in a position. But down the stretch, when shit is cold, when it gets rough, you need a running back. Those are the guys, whether it's one marquee cat or whether it's a group of them.
Yeah.
Those are the dudes that are out there churning out those tough yards that you're giving the ball to, that you're playing that clock management game with on a year-to-year basis. We see it every fucking year. Yeah. The team that wins the Super Bowl, how they run the ball down the stretch.
And the guy might not just be running the ball. He might be catching the ball at the backfield because most of the times you get some of these wide receivers, they're going deep down the field. And you get a good running back who catches the ball at the backfield for the check downs, the wheels, whatever it is.
I'm going to even take it a step further and just look at the New Orleans Saints, who we're just talking about with Mike Thomas and Drew Brees, right? All these years, right, you got Drew Brees putting up these crazy numbers, right? But it was like a span of like 3 years where they weren't making the playoffs. They were shitty teams. And Drew Brees is still throwing for 5,000 yards,
and they had
50-plus touchdowns. It wasn't until they got it figured out and said, you know what, we got to start running this damn ball, to where they got Alvin Kamara involved, to where they got Mark Ingram involved. Tim Hightower came in as well. They got those guys involved. Yeah. That's when we seen the transformation happen with those teams starting to make the playoffs, starting to be better, because you understand there's a balance.
Right.
So you don't need a leading rusher to win the Super Bowl, Jerry Jones. I get it. I agree 100%.
But you need a solid back.
Good running back.
Yeah, you need a solid back.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's the icing on the cake. Thanks, Austin. The only 3 Super Bowls that you won, you had one of the best running backs of all time.
The best. Yeah, like, come on, man.
So,
come on, man.
Those are just dumb comments. And you look at, this situation right here, man. If I'm Jason Garrett, I got to be panicking. I have to be panicking because my best player's not in camp. Who knows if this thing turns into a Le'Veon Bell type situation, right? Then I got my quarterback, who I don't want to pay top dollar, and I get it. I don't know if he's the end-all, be-all, but if I'm them, I'm giving this guy a 3-year contract, and I'm paying him, I don't know, $25 million for Dak Prescott. Then I got this wide receiver that I traded. Was it 1 first-round pick or a first and a second or some crazy shit? He comes over. He looks very good for me, and I don't give him a contract.
Right.
What the fuck am I doing? Or what the fuck are they doing if I'm Jason Garrett? In my mind, I'm like, I didn't get a contract extension. I'm on a 1-year deal right here, and none of my guys are in training. Oh, check that. You got Amari Cooper and you got Dak Prescott in training camp. But my best player is not in training camp, and I don't have these guys locked up to a deal yet. You got to be scratching your head right there with the Dallas Cowboys and what they're doing. I mean, we know Jerry Jones is a smart guy, been around football
he ain't
a
being
very
smart
long
right
time.
now.
But to me, this isn't the most pretty of things.
He ain't won a Super Bowl in a long time either.
Exactly.
And then you go out and sign Alfred Morris. Like,
they got Mike Weber.
Yeah, you got Mike Weber.
Back, but I mean, we watched that story before.
Right.
A running back by committee when they had Dan McFadden there, and they had a couple other guys, Randall there at running back. We saw the story there with the Cowboys when they had the running back by committee. You go back to the year before that committee, we saw, what was the cat's name? DeMarco Murray. Yeah. We saw the Dallas Cowboys make a run down in the playoffs having that marquee guy. So
they kind of known for getting rid of good running backs, though.
Yeah, but if I'm Jerry Jones and I look at, my track record and my history, okay, history tells me, you know what, I've been very good, not when I had a running back by committee, but when I had a very good fucking running back, and we can play clock manager football, and I got a competent quarterback. Well, Troy Aikman was more than competent, but you get what I'm saying.
No, I totally get it.
If you look at your track record and history, you know that, you know what, it's probably not the smartest thing in the world for me to, make this decision.
Man, all you got to look at is, okay, obviously Zeke was suspended some games. You go look at some of the.
All right, he's suspended. He's fresh.
No.
Let's Miles.
No. I'm saying you go look at some of the games where he didn't play. Dak struggled.
Right.
Because obviously you don't have to stack the box like you usually have to when you have, the presence of Zeke. Zeke is a huge part of that offense, and I'm not sure what Jerry's doing right now. What mindset he got going on. If he think that Alfred Morris is going to be the guy that can fill Zeke's spot, he's crazy. He done lost his mind. So I hope they get it figured out because Zeke is another guy that deserves top dollar.
Right.
He's been in the league he's going into his 4th year, but he's won the league 2 years. 2 years. He's took him to the playoffs.
I just know if I'm Jason Garrett, bro, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? That's it.
Hey, he putting his job on the line.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and one of the things too I want to hit on is, moving along a little bit, but not too far, is the NFL CBA. There's been talk that the league would like to get something done before the season. The season's right around the corner, so it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But one of the interesting things I think that needs to be changed, and I got this from a conversation I was having with somebody, is when you got running back specifically, they need to do away with this 5th-year option then franchise tag deal. If I'm a guy, if I'm an agent, if I'm a part of the NFLPA, I'm saying screw that. All right, now you can do it for maybe certain positions, but I don't even like it at all for that. The fact that you can hold guys hostage from going and securing their futures, and now you're like, all right, those guys have to play or they have to sit out. and then they're screwed out of the millions of dollars that they could potentially make on the open market. There's no reason why these guys should have the opportunity to franchise these players after the fifth-year option. All right, either you pick up the fifth-year option,
or they're free,
and they're done or whatever, or they're free to go.
Yeah,
one or the other. I mean, that franchise tag, I know it was thought of, to be great for the teams, and that's what it's been. It's been great for the teams. It hasn't been great for the player, because they're held hostage from hitting free agency, from getting top dollar. So that's something that they really need to hone in on in the CBA, man. I mean, rookies signing 4-year deals. I'm cool with that if they all going to be guaranteed.
Right.
But that 5th-year option, I don't necessarily like that unless it's going to put me in the place of the top 3 highest paid guys. It's not just average.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, you've seen some guys who get caught up in that situation where their careers are almost ended off of not being signed to the right place, where they go to a place, they getting cut, and then now they're just on the streets.
Bro, look at Alfred Morris, bro. He was a fucking beast his first 3 years in the league, right?
Washington.
They ran him into the dirt, couldn't get a new contract. I mean,
he never got a top dollar.
No.
Never did.
I think he hit free agency and maybe got, I don't know, $2 or $3 million per year. But it's like those type of situations I hate, because this is a game, and more particularly at the running back spot, we know that the gas mileage is not very far.
Right.
You ain't getting that many miles out of an RB in the league. And, I mean, if you're lucky, you're going to get it, out of a guy like Zeke. There's few and far between. You got the Ezekiel Elliott's of the world. You got the Adrian Petersons. You got certain guys that you can get out of. But I want those guys to be able to get their dollars while they can, while they're healthy. I mean, look at Melvin Gordon in this situation. He's been banged up. He wants to hold out and get a new contract.
Right. He deserves it, though. He's another guy that's had some solid good years the last 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know how we all know, at the running back position, you got to get it while you can get it.
Got to. Because
if you wait for another year and next thing you know, they got either a rookie that's coming in, or they just don't want to pay you because they feel like you old.
Exactly,
man. They feel like you're old or you banged up. So
that CBA, man, that shit has to be switched for that reason, because I want to see guys. I want to see guys get paid. I love seeing guys get to the open market, especially if they prove themselves.
Right.
If you prove you're a good player, man, go out and compensate them, man.
Hey, man, let's talk about your brownies, man.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
What you expecting? What you want to see, man? What's your thoughts?
I bet we'll crawl over here, and we got a dinner bet. If I win this bet, he has to take my whole family out to a steakhouse of my choice. I didn't say a steakhouse in Columbus. I said a steakhouse of my choice.
Wow.
So I can pick the
private jet somewhere?
Yeah, I can pick the best steakhouse. I'll pay for my own flight, but I can pick the best steakhouse in the country, and he has to pay. And
is that true?
Vice versa. Yeah, absolutely true.
Okay.
So the bet was that the Browns win at least 10 games. And I don't know what Will was thinking. I don't know what he was watching. The Browns should have won 10 games last year, but they were cheated out of a couple. So what am I expecting for the Browns? I'm expecting playoffs or bust. Playoffs or bust. And all right, man, if they win 10 games, I'm still great because I'm good on this dinner here. And I'll be getting it. It'll probably be like $1,000, $1,200 bill. I got a big family, Will. But nonetheless, I think the Browns will indeed make the playoffs. I like all the moves that they made from a defensive standpoint and getting guys in position. We get Vernon the tie up there with Garrett. Then in the offensive end, I mean, I think we already got a stud young running back in Chubb. I think he's durable.
And then you're going to get your boy back in week 8.
Exactly. I mean, Kareem Hunt. I mean, that's one of those deals where you're just sitting there. You're playing.
On paper, it looks so great.
You're playing. They don't let you do it in Madden, but they used to let you do it in the old college football game where I could take somebody from USC and I can put them on Ohio State and put them on my team. I can pick whoever on this team, and that's what the Cleveland Browns look like on paper. Now, it's going to be a huge task to get it to translate to on-field production, but I think they can do it. I think they got a solid offensive line. We got a young quarterback. We got the 2 stud wide receivers. We got a damn good tight end if he catches the ball. That's a big if.
And honestly, I think he's going to be the major key in the Browns offense because obviously everybody's going to be looking at Odell and Jarvis.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's gonna have a lot of opportunities where he's gonna be able to be open, and I think he's very good one-on-one against linebackers.
Oh, he just can't catch the ball.
He does a great job of getting open, and like you said, he has some times where he has some struggling to catch the ball.
Has to catch the ball, boy.
But Odell Beckham's in town now, so maybe he's. They working together where he's working on his one-handers, his, catching with two hands. So hopefully that's the case. I like him on D. I don't really see a position that the Browns have that you could say, we
like
really,
question mark.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we're struggling at that position.
I mean, we got a top 10 cornerback in the second round in Greedy Williams.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that's something that's
a steal.
Is going to bode well for them. And, the question mark was his work ethic and so on and so forth. But when you got guys like Jarvis and Odell that you see busting their ass every day in practice, I'm sure that's going to make your ass work hard because you're going to understand that in order to be great in this league, I have to do that.
So let me ask you this. So if the Browns just so happen to just shit down their leg.
They won't, man.
Hold on.
Speaking up like that into existence.
Just listen to me. And they go 6-10. Is there a curse on the Browns?
That just won't happen, bro. I can't even fathom nothing like that happening.
You never know.
No, I do know. That shit's not gonna happen. I can't imagine that happening. I mean, you look at Freddie Kitchens, who Freddie was the tight ends coach when I was in Arizona. I won't say he's a player's coach, but he's able to relate to his guys. And I think you will have guys that want to play hard for him. I think when you look on the defensive side of the ball, we got a couple of leaders over there that want to be good. And I think people are tired of the players. If you're with that organization, you're probably tired of being looked at as the laughing stock of the league. Last year, you scratched the surface.
Mm-hmm.
You were scratching and clawing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a couple of games away from being out of it. So I think this year, man, it's
so
time.
This is the year.
It's time.
All right.
Question I got for you, though, man. This is, going across the way. This is a player that obviously he's one of our own, but I think there's been a lot of intrigue right there because of the situation in which he's in. Dwayne Haskins. Mm-hmm. Will Dwayne Haskins be the starting quarterback by week 4 in Washington?
I honestly think he's going to be the starting quarterback week 1.
Why?
Because he's just a great player, and from what I've been seeing from a lot of the media stuff, he's been getting a lot of great praise. And the head coach loves him. Gruden loves him. Mm-hmm. It seems like, and it seems like he's like becoming a young leader of that team right now.
See, I don't want him to be the starting quarterback that early. I would love for him to be the starting quarterback. Week 6, 7, 8, come in and
Man, the hell with that.
Why? I mean, I want to see him get time to develop.
I get what you're saying,
this is a young dude. I mean, he don't got a lot of crazy weapons there in Washington to where he can just flourish right away with those guys. I mean, you let somebody else take the bumps and bruises as you come in and be the savior. I don't want to see it where he's out there.
Preseason going to tell a lot.
I don't think preseason going to tell shit because the game level and the game speed in preseason is night and day to regular season.
But if he plays well in the preseason, it's like, all right, well he's showing us something.
Yeah,
so
see, I don't think that means shit.
Now
you play against in preseason, he's gonna be playing against a bunch of guys
who ain't gonna make
60% won't make the team. He's gonna be coming in the later part of the game. It's not like he's gonna be starting these preseason games.
You gotta start somewhere, Beans. Golly.
Man, but I get what you're saying though. I think
because if he can't get it done against them guys, then he in trouble.
Right. You're right. Oh, you're right on that end too. But I think I do want to see him, start in the later part of the season. But I don't think it's going to happen, though. I think what you said is probably going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's going to be because.
Who they got over there, though?
They got Colt McCoy, who's been a solid backup.
Come on, bro.
I want to say, is Mark Sanchez over there, too? I don't know.
He just retired, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, Mark.
They got somebody else over there at the quarterback spot because Alex Smith, his injury, we don't know if he's going to come back from.
He's done, bro.
And play. But the reason why I do think he's going to play a lot sooner than I think he needs to play is because Gruden. His job is going to be on the line. I mean, they're going to be looking at a situation to where if they're down in the first 2 games and it's not looking good, he's going to hit that red panic button. I got to get my first-round draft pick quarterback in there and hope he can bail me out. And I hate that.
I think if he doesn't start week 1, it's going to come a lot faster than week 4 or week 8, in my opinion. Because at the same time, I think, did he go 15 or 14?
15.
When you draft a guy that high, and things aren't going well, like you said, that they're going to hit that button
right.
Like, hey, bro, We need you to turn this around like right now. You know what I'm saying? So I think, and like you said, it ain't like they got some superstars over there that's just going to take over. So it's they're going to have to put him in there, so they're going to say, this is why we drafted this guy, because he's going to turn it around for us.
Yeah. No, it's going to get interesting, man. I'm so glad we're at that time of the year where we can talk about football. All the other sports and shit are great, and we still will, but man, this is near and dear to my heart. Man, this is the exciting part right here, man. As we gear up for the season, we know what's going on. We know what's about to happen. This is love. This is my favorite time of the year right now. So I'm glad we're getting to that point. Before we cut this thing, short, man, we know the NFL Hall of Fame game is this week.
Tomorrow, bro.
Damn, that's crazy. It's tomorrow. That shit
it's just tomorrow.
It snuck up on us.
Huh?
It snuck up on us. But who's your guy going into the Hall of Fame this year? Every year, we always got a guy that you can't wait to hear speak, give this crazy speech. Who's your guy that you can't wait to hear? And I'm going to rattle off the names. Champ Bailey's going in. Pat Bowlen, Gil Brandt, Tony Gonzalez, Ty Law, Kevin Watt, Ed Reed. Those are some of the names, the bigger names.
I want to hear my guy Ed talk.
Me too, bro.
I mean, I had when I was in Buffalo, Ed was on the coaching staff, and man, when I say one of the coolest, old school cats, man, he was just always giving knowledge, always giving free game, man. So I'm looking forward to his speech, because I already know he's gonna be up there. It's gonna be lit, bro.
But Ed ain't one of those. He's not a real rah guy like
he
that.
ain't a real rah, but you feel his presence, though.
No question.
You know what I'm saying?
I remember the first time I met Ed Reed was my rookie year. He was at Troy Smith's golf tournament up in Cleveland. Yeah. And I played I got a chance to chop it up with him at the golf tournament later on.
Real laid back.
Going to a bar and just shooting the breeze, bro. And he was like, he just had this aura about him. Like you said, you feel his presence, man. So I can't wait to hear him speak, bro. Yeah. What else you got? We got something else before we get up out of here and we get back next week, and we got some beautiful stuff coming next week for us.
I know we ain't been here in a couple weeks. This is kind of off the radar,
right?
But I just want to hear your opinion. Who you think the real kings are in LA? The Clippers or the Lakers?
The Lakers. Absolutely the Lakers. I don't give a fuck what they just did with the Clippers. That's cool. Fine. It looks pretty.
Yeah.
With Kawhi and Paul George, it looks real pretty. And then obviously they got some role players. Lou Will was a beast.
Yeah.
But bro, we're talking about LeBron James and Anthony Davis here. Now,
and in my opinion, if we can get Boogie Cousins back to just 80%,
and he will, I think he will get back to where he was.
I gotta go. I'm riding with you.
I'm going to LA all day.
All day.
I'm going for LA. I'm going to the Lakers all day with this one.
Okay.
I mean, the Clippers are gonna be good, but man, come on, man. It's just I don't know, bro. I don't know. Paul George is all right, but come on. I'm taking my Lakers, dog.
Yeah, I gotta ride with you. That's pretty much all I got. But I am glad, man, that we back, man.
Back in motion, man. We'll be back on a consistent basis.
And it's football season, so we're gonna have a lot to give y'all. We're gonna have a lot to talk about, man. Talk about the Buckeyes, talk about the Browns, talk about everybody, man. We love sports, man, and we love talking about it. So
yes, indeed, man. Thanks for tuning in to Beanie and The Boom, the podcast. We'll be here on a weekly basis. We got some new shirts that's going to be dropping too. And we may put a graphic up of these new shirts. They're sweet as hell. And you can find them on sale at lettermenrow.com. Check them out. Say it again. They're not here yet, but we'll put a graphic up so you can show them what they look like a little bit.
And y'all can give us y'all can give us y'all opinion. Tell us what you like,
I don't really care.
what you don't like.
I like the shirt.
I like them too, but they, the people might like what they like, so we're gonna get more of what they like.
Yeah, I guess so. I like to wear a lot of T-shirts too. So.
All right, cool.
Man, that's a wrap on Beanie and The Boom, the podcast, man. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Check us out: iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher. Am I missing anything? YouTube, yes. And again, check out the people we know and love at Buyers Auto, buyersauto.com.
Go buy a car.